seats. Come on and
we have more seats. Come on out.
Come on out.
Come on up. We have more seats that we can bring.
This is the end of the line. The lyrics are in this case of paper.
She has wind as a witness. She is alone as a fly by night.
Let's try that one again. It's another favorite song.
This is Catch Can. We're going to have fun.
We're supposed to do that. The phone to ring, end of the line, waiting for someone to tell you everything.
End of the line,
Sit around and wonder what tomorrow will bring.
end of the line.
Maybe a diamond gray.
It's alright, even if they say you're wrong. But it's alright, sometimes you gotta be strong. But it's alright, as long as you got somewhere to lay. But it's alright, every day is judgment day.
Maybe it's sundown where the roadways, the end of the line. You'll think of me and wonder where I am these days.
End of the line,
Maybe sundown somebody will play
end of the line.
Purple Haze. But it's
It's alright, even when push comes to shove. But it's alright, if you got someone to love. Well, it's alright, everything will work out fine. Well, it's alright, we're going to the end of the line.
Don't have to be ashamed of the car I drive.
End of the line,
I'm just glad to be here, happy to be alive.
end of the line,
It don't matter if you're by my side.
end of the line.
I'm satisfied.
It's alright, even if you're on the grave. But it's alright, still got something to say.
Well,
It's alright, remember to live and let live. But it's alright, do your best to forgive. But it's alright, riding around in the breeze. But it's alright.
Well, thank you, everyone, and wow, Netherland knows how to rise from the ashes, doesn't it? Thank you, Susan. We know that she's rolling her eyes up there and laughing at the same time, so it's so wonderful to be here, and thank you all for coming to help celebrate Susan's life, Susan's legacy, and all the love that she's given. My name is Electra. I'm the library director here, and as Kay will tell you, when Susan and I first met, it was quite the pissing contest, because we're both pretty feral when it comes to libraries, and so we circled each other for a few months, and Kay kept saying to both of us, she told us this later, calm down. Calm down, calm down. Remember, you both believe in the First Amendment, free speech. And after a few months, we became dear close friends. I loved Susan because she at that point was a volunteer, so we didn't have to censor her. And she kept us laughing, and till this day, every time we print out the New York Times bestseller list, and to this day, every time a new Texan author releases a book, I always think of Susan, and I miss her dearly. So I'm going to introduce Kay, who's going to come and share. John, excuse me. But Kay will be sort of our mistress of ceremonies when it's time to open everything up. So here's John, and come on down, John.
Okay. There's still a few seats up here in front. Come on up. There's still a few chairs. Thank you all for coming. I'm going to have a brief history of Susan Gerhart's life. I'm John Stewart. I've known Susan since 1964 when we were married as students at CU. 61 short years ago. The events outlined in the program were Susan's last wishes. She wrote them down. For those of you that know her, you know how well she organized to the last minute of her life. She told me what to do. This placed the music in the sequence of the 4 songs. Susan selected for the lyrics, and as you have the lyrics on a piece of paper there. The lyrics are Susan's last message to the world. Read them, think about them, say this is what she wanted to tell people. Susan was a very private person, so I'm going to cast a little bit light on the history for those who know only a small slice of her life. Susan was born in San Antonio, Texas, to a family that were educators and had ties to the Texas Rangers and to a father who was a fighter pilot in World War II. So Western culture, education, and aviations were born into her. Well, if I stumble, guess what? I might stumble. Her early education occurred in Japan during the end of the occupation, then in Minot, North Dakota, and Boulder. She entered college in Boulder at CU in 1962. To the surprise of many, she was a sorority girl for a while. She studied anthropology, among other things. After we married, we worked for a year to get in-state tuition. She worked at a company called Neodata, punching data cards for $1.10 an hour. In 1 year of penny pinching, every minute we saved enough money to pay for 1 year of college for both of us. You can't do that these days. I graduated in 1966 and joined the Air Force. I happened to be number 1 in the draft list. She graduated the next year and followed me into the Air Force life and arrived in Lubbock, Texas in the spring of 1967, where I was in pilot training. She arrived with the German Shepherd and 7 puppies. We moved to Phoenix as I trained to go to Vietnam. When I deployed in 1968, she went back to San Antonio, became a high school teacher, and then back to Lubbock, Texas after the war when I was a flight instructor. And in 1972, Susan moved back to Boulder. And wow, did she begin a rather interesting life. You wouldn't expect it, but early on, Susan decided to build houses. One who I know was up in Pine Brook Hills. She proudly told stories of having coffee with the other builders. She was the only woman. Soon, she became a partner in a flying school. Going from building houses to flying school, okay. At Boulder Airport, Colorado Flight Safety. She became a pilot, a multi-engine pilot, an instrument pilot, and an instructor. They had a place at Boulder Airport. John Denver used to fly his airplane and park it there so he wouldn't be in public. She had over 500 hours flying all over the country. Then she married into the airshow world. She married John Bowman, the leader of the world-renowned formation aerial demonstration team known as the Red Barons. Susan then traveled the country with that team. In the meantime, she had a lot of extra energy. She became a very successful team manager in the tech world. She had an office about 3 stories up, glass office in a corner of the building with a vision of the mountains. She made more money than I made. Among her skills were editing operational manuals written by engineers. She translated them so actually human beings could read them. For customers worldwide, her editing skills were later put to work editing books for friends and writing many, many articles for all the newspaper as well as for the Mystery Book Club. In the meantime, she raised a very successful daughter, Summer. Through grade school, high school, and college, often driving from Netherlands to Boulder to drop her off at school, and then driving another half an hour, 45 minutes into Denver to go to work at her office. And later you'll hear a text from Summer. She couldn't be here, but her text that she sent me is in the handout that I've given you. Before the 2000s, she became involved in the Netherlands Community Library community. Early as a volunteer in the corner of the community center up the hill. After a big storm and snow, they moved to a little place down in the shopping center, which unfortunately burned just recently. The library escaped by with volunteers and not much money. And she and according to her, this is what she told me, she and some of her library volunteers and interested, over a cup of coffee one morning, decided Netherlands needed something better. That started 10 years struggle that resulted in the beautiful library that we're in today. Kay will tell you more about that. Many volunteers for many years made this happen. Susan was involved and was the president of the Netherlands Community Library Foundation from 2009 to 2011. And I was here the night of the vote to get the mill levy to fund the library district. 11 o'clock, we all left very sad because we thought we'd lost. The next morning, Susan called me and said, we won by 4 votes. Sometimes things happen that you don't expect. And then more work began. The result of countless hours from countless volunteers is where we are. Susan loved the library and continued to volunteer until she moved to out of Netherlands to Boulder about 3 years ago. I am convinced that the library was the most satisfying thing in her life. During the last year, a little more of her history. She did a lot of traveling. She went to Egypt and Israel, and then many trips over Christmas where we went to places like Key West, Puerto Rico, San Diego, Las Vegas. You'll see one picture up here that that everyone would be surprised in Las Vegas, where she's shooting a machine gun. She loved her house in Netherlands, the cats and the dogs, as well as the wildlife that slept in her yard. She even had a bear break into the house once and raid the refrigerator. We spread her ashes at her house over her pet cemetery. Many describe Susan as a reader. She always had a book wherever she was, a book on tape in the player in the car, and a huge assortment of books in her library. On the table back here and in a box, we have about 50 books about Colorado. I would hope that when this is over, all those books are gone. Please take them. Thank you for listening. Another song and the next speaker. But I think that I said already once, the lyrics of the songs, please read them. That is Susan's